dude. You know how I do. I give it a good solid fucking like week's worth of effort. And then I run out of ammo.
Enough practice. Time for the real thing.
And then I'm like, I'll play like sparingly over the next like fucking 50 days. That season 4 is like more or less. I don't know, dude. Are we playing duos or trios?
Anybody need this? Anybody need? Anybody need? Wait, delay that. Wait, disregard. Disregard.
You'll lead them in.
Pulling a Chad, man. I learned that from him.
Get to the safe zone.
Leo, you want to go to that one? Let me highlight all of them. Alright, let's get some... Hello, look at that. Let's get some wins. But yeah, dude, why this isn't a national holiday? No. Well, I mean, nobody ever accused me of being a genius either, so, but, like... Yeah, they're probably all super racist.
Hostile dropping into the area.
Okay.
Supply box located. Move to secure.
Damn, dude. Maybe modernize a little bit, like. I'm looking for armor, bruh. Upstairs or downstairs?
Hostile. Hostile. Enemy dropping into the AR.
Oh, one shot, one kill.
Teammates in the gulag. If they survive, they can redeploy.
Where the fuck did that guy's body go? Oh.
Be advised, your teammate got their ass kicked. They're RTB at this time. Victory rests on your shoulders. Finish the mission.
I didn't know if there's a guy up here.
Got gas moving in. Contract updated. New objective identified.
said, man, nobody ever accused me of being a genius. I mean, I think dismantle is a harsh word, but for... Dude. No way, I don't think so. Yeah. But I'm also a person of color with fucking... I don't know. Like...
Contract updated.
I think...
New objective identified.
Which is also why I think it's like sort of necessary, so people can feel like, you know, it's like you appreciate things more when they're gone. So maybe police need to be gone for a little while, and then people want it. But also, like, being police, like, they should, like, I think until all cops are fucking vetted and fucking these guys with like rap sheets longer than some criminals. Like, until all those guys are gone, and all the guys that cover for those guys are gone, there are no good cops.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Dude, that's white privilege right there, dude. If you had a taser and you're black, you get fucking 2 warning shots in your grill.
Contract complete. All supply boxes located.
Yeah, dude. How did it feel to be black for a day? Yeah, but like, just because that's how something is doesn't make it right, you know? Oh shit, is that a loadout box? Yeah.
Loadout drop inbound.
Yeah.
Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone.
Okay, Mr. Damascus. Are you already gulagged?
Listen up, soldier.
Fuck,
Win
where have I
here
been?
and you return to the front line. But if
Alive.
you lose, you're done. Time to earn your freedom, soldier. Go back to the front line. Earned it.
Oh, that was close.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Dude, like, I read up on this shit, like, daily. I'm like, okay, well, I kind of educate myself on, like, what's really going on. And the more I read, dude, and I try to, like, approach it as unbiased as I possibly can. And because I'm white and I'm black, so it's like, okay, so I have to... It's the same fucking guy. Well, that's the thing is, like, what you should say is it's not about black and white, because it's not. It's about inequality. It's about inequality and racial injustice and discrimination. It doesn't matter. I don't care what color you are. Everybody's been discriminated against at least once, and guess what? It sucks, but like right now, we're gonna focus on the people who are being more discriminated against than others right now. So, like, nobody said all lives didn't matter. It's just we're focused on the ones that are fucking dying 3 times as often as fucking anybody else for, like, I don't know, license and registration. Alright, boom. Oh shit, I thought he was reaching for a gun. I'm like, dude, you just asked me for my license and registration. Like, I think everybody should be policed the same. They should, yeah, I mean, of course, there's going to be higher crime areas in, like, areas of poverty. But at the same time, if you throw 20 extra fucking cops in areas of poverty, naturally, it's going to look like there's more crimes being committed there because they only got 2 for, like, fucking a, like, 50-mile radius for, like, another town of other people. So it's like, yeah, the numbers are going to show and reflect poorly on, like, the black community. And I think that's wrong, too. It's like, police everybody the same. Because, really, you can't really trust the numbers.
Battle Royale. Gas is approaching.
So I think until all cops are vetted and they dismiss...
Anybody need this?
What?
Targets are up. Get to work. Supply box identified. Marking location now.
Oh shit, where are you? Dude, yeah. I was like, you can say it, just don't say it to black people. Not right now, but like the thing is
Objective located.
like it's such an uncomfortable conversation to have, which it's supposed to be uncomfortable. But the problem is nobody ever wants to have it. So nothing ever gets better, nothing ever changes. And people like still keep living with like all of these fucking open wounds that need fucking healing and fucking...
Contract complete. All supply boxes located.
Shit, dude. I probably wouldn't have brought him to a protest to fucking just get him.
Kill him.
I was like, yeah, well, shit. You should just be like, ask Dizzy, he'll tell you. Because I will be civil, and I am civil about it. And like, dude, I swear, I fucking have gone back and forth with so, like, more random people in this last, like, fucking 2 weeks than I've ever in my entire life. Dude, I'm not, bro. I am emotionally unstable. I should not be having to deal with this shit, but I am. Those, yeah, true. Well, I mean, there's no, if you think about it, there's no correct way to protest. So, like, it's like, dude, the problem of fucking racism and discrimination in this fucking country should have been addressed a long fucking time ago. Like, and like, now it's been put off so long and nobody wants to fucking talk about it. Like, oh, I'd rather pretend it doesn't exist than to actually deal with this issue, because it's a huge issue. And like, it's hard, like, and what bothers me the most, dude, is like, okay, like, everybody has a different perspective to the same story. Like, they're different.
We're in the safe zone. Check ammo, guns up.
Yeah, but you unlearned that shit. But I bet from time to time you still say some racist shit here and there. Like, guess what? Yeah, but like fucking, yeah, dude, I don't even think fucking, I'm at the point where I don't even want to fucking hear racist jokes anymore, dude. It's like fucking, shit's going on for fucking, where is everybody, dude? I swear there's a bunch of guys here. Oh, we got enough money for a loadout.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Yeah, dude, like, think about that. It's like, think about it, it's like, oh yeah, it's like a bunch of, but nobody really understands what it's like to be that one black family in an all-white neighborhood either. Like, so it's like, but every time they try to bring up, it's like, oh, they're complaining again. It's like, nah, dude, like, fuck, you know how many times I've end up in the fucking hospital because I've been begging somebody to fucking listen, and everybody just kind of brushes it off like it's unimportant or whatever. It's like, damn, dude, that shit legit causes fucking, like, emotional scarring.
Your teammates in the gulag. If they survive, they can redeploy.
Yeah, but you can't really blame black people for bringing racism to America, like I wholeheartedly 100% fucking, like, think, like, this is my opinion, that white people created racism, and like, can't, like, and are fucking,
Be advised, your teammate got their ass kicked. They're RTB at this time. You're the last one on your team. Finish the job.
dude, that's what I was telling somebody else. I was like, no, it is normal now. It's,
Enemy UAV overhead.
dude, like, it's so normalized now in America that people like are just flat out racist as fuck now and like don't give a shit. They don't care anymore. Like it's like, why would they? Bro, hold on. Sorry, I got my dead silence going.
Friendly loadout drop on the way.
Leroy Jenkins.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
Nah, dude. Like I said, I feel like white people created racism. Like, nobody knows who created, but like I fucking like 99% sure it was a white, because like white people are the ones who classify people in America by their skin color. Like somebody was like, well, Irish had slaves. I was like, dude, the oppressed Irish, the Irish slaves that fucking fled Ireland to come to America were fucking, they had convinced themselves that, dude, it's better to be a poor white immigrant in America than it is to be black. So I'd rather just fucking go be a poor white immigrant. It's better than a slave. They already have slaves, and they're black. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, like I said, dude, this shit hasn't been addressed. Like, this country was founded on some racial bullshit, dude. Like, and if you think about it, dude, like, when have fucking people of color
Gas is inbound.
like, when has it ever been a good time to be a person of color in America? Never. Like, I was thinking about this shit. I'm like trying to think of a time, like try to be like as unbiased as possible, dude. Like, when has it ever been? Like, when have people of color ever been treated good in America?
Enemy UAV overhead.
So, like, you ask for something, nobody should have to beg for equal rights, dude. That's your rights as a fucking human being. Like, I was talking about the Equal Rights Amendment, dude. That shit was fucking, like, proposed in 1970. And they need a minimum of 38 votes to pass. You know how long it took them to get 38 votes? Fucking Virginia this year fucking was the 38th vote. That's how long. And now they're like, dude, well, this doesn't even mean anything because, like, this bill fucking expired already. So, like, there's no such thing as fucking equal rights. And, like, that's not a real thing. Alright, fuck this. I know the motherfucker's up here. Well, it's just because, well... Hey, you said it. Like, equality should be the bottom line, dude, not the top. Like, that's what I think. Like, well, like, fucking, the rights are the language of the unheard. And, like, when you've been fucking asking to be treated fucking equal, like a human being, for so long, dude. Like, dude, for a fucking 100 years in America, black people weren't even considered people. They were considered fucking property, bro. Like, nah, dude, owning a dog, dogs had more rights than black people in fucking America. Like, dude, you had no rights. They're not even a fucking human being. Like, you were dehumanized. Anything that made you human, like, they stripped from you. What's the 1%?
Enemy UAV overhead.
Well, how would you, like, but ask yourself, how would you handle being fucking, like, just flat out? Dude, because I think you would fucking start killing people, bro. like,
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
yeah. Damn it, that's where he went. Well, like, and this is also the problem, dude. People care more about these businesses than the reason why black people are upset. Like, that's making shit worse. Like, dude, fucking, you know what I think?
Your freedom, soldier.
Burn it. Burn it down. Like, the insurance will cover that. Yeah, I know it's not the right thing to say, but it's like, what else are they supposed to do? Like, what are... Like, America has been fucking stripping and burning down black people, the business of black people, and exploiting it for 274 years. So, like, a couple weeks of fucking, like, dude, a couple police stations get lit on fire, dude, fucking Target. I don't see, yeah, well, I mean, I don't think, like, any planning kind of goes into riots. I think they just kind of happen. The fucking, like, they just like, when are you going to make it to the next riot planning committee there, David? No. You know what peaceful rioting is? It's like when you're sitting there fucking, like, at, like, say you're at, like, a fucking, like, a funeral or some shit, but, like, like, I don't know, like, inside, like, you have this shit going on, but outside you have to be, like, perfectly normal, and say it's, like, something as fucked up as, like, oh, you just want to start bursting out laughing in the middle of a funeral. Like, I don't know, could that be considered? No, like, yeah. But are they doing it, or are they fucking, like, telling, like, people that are looking to instigate shit further to do it? Which is what they're, like, I know, like, yeah, but, like, I say fucking, go ahead. Kill, I don't mind fucking rioters getting shot or fucking beaten up, dude, they're rioting. Where I draw the line is when fucking they start doing the shit to the peaceful protesters.
Holding for deployment.
Like, dude, these people are literally peacefully protesting. Like, we have violent riots on one hand, we have peaceful protests on the other. Why is it so hard for people to differentiate between the two? You know what it turns into? It turns into, like, these rioters and looters. Yeah, dude, guess what? They're criminals. They're taking advantage of a situation and using a peaceful protest as smokescreen, yeah, to go do what they want to do. They don't give a fuck about George Floyd. When people say that shit, they're right. No, they don't. And I tell them, I'm like, yeah, you're right. They don't. Like, but you can't call those people protesters, because if they don't care, they're not protesting. And they're like, oh, well, I don't think. He's like, well, it's bringing a bad name to the message. I was like, how? How is it bringing any like defaming of any sort to George Floyd? It has nothing to do with it. So like, if you're using that as an excuse to like say like, I don't fucking believe it, they started rioting, so you're gonna condemn the actions of like 90% of the people over the actions of 10? That sounds about fucking why black people are... Yeah.
Battle Royale. Avoid the gas. Get to the safe zone.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and this motherfucker was like, oh yeah, dude, we gotta unite the people to take down these Big Tent parties and fucking mass media and blah 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 for keeping fucking sharing this shit. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude. The thing is like, these issues didn't just sprout up like over the last like decade, because like they've really started to like show their face over the last decade. You know what it was? You know what happened, dude? Social media was created and everybody has a camera phone now. So now all this shit is fucking documented.
Enemy soldier incoming. Eliminate all targets in the AO.
Hostiles in the area. Hostiles in the area.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Well, the thing is like, this is why I don't think it's right for them to fucking even try to intervene, because they're the whole reason why they're protesting in the first place. So it's like, they're protesting your use of excessive force. So is it really a good idea to use excessive force to fucking like break up peaceful protests? Nah, dude, that shit's just adding fuel to the fire.
Your teammate was sent to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy.
Oh yeah, there's totally is,
Your teammate
dude,
was sent
and like,
to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy.
but it's not the media's fault for playing it, dude. It's like the people's fault for choosing to watch it. And it's like, dude, well, I mean, there's level heads. It's just they're not fucking getting enough attention, and people like chaos, bro. Like, they're drawn to chaos. Oh my god, what, blah blah blah, fucking COVID-19, I need toilet paper, fucking this and that. Like, dude, like, people love chaos.
Your teammate got a proper sorting. We're sending them home. Teammate has been cleared for redeployment.
Yeah.
Positive ID on the bounty target. Sort them out.
I feel fucking trapped over here, dude. But like,
Gas is closing in.
it pisses me off, dude. That it's like, dude, this is
Enemy
me.
UAV
Like,
overhead.
this is how I talk to people, and it's like, dude, I'll sit there and talk, and they're just like, well, this and this and this. I was like, dude, it's irrelevant. It's like, figure out what's relevant, figure out what's not. Don't give any attention to fucking give the attention to the protesters. Show them that, like, we're standing with you. It's like, you support them. Like, people talk about protests more, or looting and rioting more than they're even talking about protesting. And then now it's turning into the looting and rioting is the protest, and it's like, that's not even the case. Like, it's...
Vendor here. Need something from the shop?
I think police reform, and fucking like ending racism benefits everybody, dude. It's not just black people. Just because the movement is called Black Lives Matter does not mean anybody's life is any less important. It's just what the shit is called. It's like if you protest Black Lives Matter by saying all lives matter, but then like you say all lives matter, but you're okay with blue lives matter because you know they're blue.
Enemy UAV overhead.
You don't have a problem with fucking. It's like the only problem you have is the word black, dude. Like that's the problem. Like that's the problem people have. That's why they won't fucking. That's why they keep changing the goddamn shit, dude. I've never even heard of All Lives Matter until Black Lives Matter started. Like, dude, like literally somebody created a protest. Like, don't you have anything better to do? Like, and then they say Black Lives Matter. Like, these people that created a protest to protest, like, peaceful protests are saying that Black Lives Matter is creating a divide. Like, nah, dude, are you fucking, like, high or something? You know what I mean? Like,
need something from the shop.
wow. You cracked the fuck out of me. But like, you can't put that on Black Lives Matter. That has to happen. This is like, dude, these conversations.
Win here and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over.
Well, like, what I would do, dude, is like educate them and be like, dude, the reason why this is happening is because of all, like a lot of stuff has happened over the last few hundred years. People are really upset about it. Like, when you get older, you'll understand. But like, or just say, dude, when have white lives never mattered? Like, this is what I don't get. Like, when have white lives never mattered? Like, oh yeah. Nah, dude, my girlfriend's friend at fucking the store the other day, yesterday I guess, fucking ran into like this group of like, I don't even call them like fucking black, like they don't fucking represent what Black Lives Matter is. Like, they don't represent fucking anything about it. Like, these people walked up to her for fucking putting her cart back like a good fucking person does. Like, they put their carts back and they fucking spit on her and said, fucking, here's your white privilege. Like, and she was so upset by this. And you know what my initial reaction was? Like, yeah, dude, that kind of sucks. But literally, how is that any different from like 50 years ago when white people used to go up and spit on black people and call them a nigger? Like, hey, now you're starting to get like, now those hateful feelings and those hateful things that you like people don't like, they're starting to happen to you, and now like you're so outraged by the stuff that's actually happening that you're ignoring the fact of why they're it's like, dude, like, oh no, dude, this. Right, exactly. Exactly. Next time, right, like, next time, right, or get like a shirt when you're walking through like one of those things and just like have it on deck that says BLM on it so you can just like get through without being bothered. Like, that's what I would do. Oh, it's not even to fit in, bro. It's like, it's to like make sure nobody fucking. No. It's just to be left alone. Like, oh yeah. Well, it's like, yeah. No, it doesn't, dude. Like, everybody's talking about this now. But, like, people don't remember, like, dude, they're like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Same shit happened with fucking Michael Brown and fucking Trayvon Martin. Like, people only remember the latest riot, dude. Like, these shit's been happening, like, every 5 years for, like, the last, since, I don't know, forever. It's not even just an election, dude. Like, how many times are we gonna just keep doing this over and over and over before anything changes? And it's only getting worse. Like, the fact that, like, it's a fact. Racism exists, prejudice exists, discrimination exists, and bigotry exists. Like, these are facts. Like, when people are telling you, like, hey, enough is enough, like, and people are just like, nah, dude, that's not even like, it's not even like that anymore. Like, it's just like basically just undermining like everything that they're trying to like tell you. Like, what are they supposed to do? Like, what? Like, they tried kneeling in the national anthem, dude. Like, they tried protesting peacefully over and over again, dude. And everybody just mocks him. Like, fucking Kaepernick got blackballed and lost his fucking job because of it. And now Goodell's like, oh yeah, dude, fucking, we want him to play again. Like, wow, dude, it took, like, America, like, turning on each other for you to get Colin Kaepernick. Basically the equivalent to hell freezing over for you to give that guy his job back. When he didn't do anything wrong. Like, the thing, like, stuff like that happens when people do speak out peacefully. And, like, it's how do you, like, I don't even understand, like, how many justifications, like, people try to make for these types of situations. Like, dude, stop trying to justify something that's fundamentally wrong. Like, condemn it. It's wrong. Don't do that. Don't be like, well, he was having a bad day, or this or that. Like, stop making excuses for shitty fucking behavior and shitty human. Like, I just don't understand, dude. Like, all people of color are asking for is to be treated equal. That's all. That's like the bare minimum, and look how it's fucking, like, everybody's losing their minds because people want to be treated equally.
You'll lead them in. Avoid the gas. Get to the safe zone.
You know, like, how, I wonder. Oh shit, dude, boards, like, not in party chat. Oh, yeah, for like 4 games.
Hostiles dropping into the area. Supply box marked. Secure the package.
Found a sniper rifle.
Nah, dude, like, nothing like, it's nothing like that, dude. Like, you gotta. I mean, it should, dude. Like, but. Dude.
Your teammates in the gulag. If they survive, they can redeploy.
Dude, like, I mean, fuck, dude. Out of the people I've been talking, probably like the least fucking most racist person I've talked to about this shit. But it's like, people keep like kind of throwing in different reasons into why, like, oh well, like they want this and they want that. It's like, dude, everybody keeps assuming that they want this or they want that without actually asking or listening to why they're upset in the first place. So it's like, fuck, dude, it's really tough for people with no.
Your teammate is redeploying. Stand by.
Like, but the thing is
Next objective
you
location.
can't hold black people responsible for the problem that they didn't create. So, I mean, yeah, dude, you can't take back what happened in history, but you can, like, at least try to, like, rectify it. And instead of being like, oh, dude, like, blah, 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 it's like, all right, now, like, everybody just like, oh, I'm listening, all right, now I'm tired of listening, so go fuck yourself. Like, and that's what people, that's what I'm worried about. It's like, oh, yeah, dude, people want to listen now, but while everybody's looking, but when people stop looking, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna go back to being the same fucking little pieces of shit back. So it's like, it's up to people to fucking, like, dude, remember the movie Remember the Titans? It wasn't black people telling white people what to do. It was the white people checking the white people, and the black people checking the black people, and that's how they fucking made it work. And they were like, hey, fucking, they were like fucking Brutier was the one correcting the fucking racist behavior, like fucking kicking white dudes off the team for being fucking assholes. Dude, like, that's what needs to happen here. Like, it's similar, bro. Like I think like a similar thing needs to happen where it's like it's not getting anywhere to have fucking black people fucking yelling at white people and white people yelling back at black people.
For a chance to redeploy.
Like, well, basically it's
Enemy UAV
black people yelling at white people because they have a legit beef and a legit reason on why they're upset. White people going like, yelling back like, well, you guys are just doing this and this. Like, shit, dude. I get it. Sometimes people don't even understand what they're saying is actually fucked up. But guess what? It doesn't make it. Like this lady I was talking to. This lady I was talking to on Facebook, dude. She was like, oh, blah blah blah. Fucking, I forget what the fuck she said. Anyway, it was fucking ignorant. So those are the people I fucking especially fucking pay close attention to.
Victory rests on your shoulders.
And
finish the mission.
What happened is I was like, dude. She's like, oh well, fucking. She's like, no. She's like, there's cops and then there's stupid cops. And then she's like, oh, there's white and then there's white privilege. And then like she's like, and then not all blacks are criminals. I was like, so you compared cop with cop, you compared white with white privilege, also okay, but then you compared blacks to criminals. I'm like, there it is, right there. Like, I fucking spelled it out for her. I'm like, here it is, plain as day for you to see. And she called me a fucking, she's like, oh, you're horrible for twisting my words. I'm like, no, I did not twist them. This is what it says. And this is me as a person of color. This is what I see that it says. But the thing is like, she's so used to saying shit like that she doesn't even know it's bad anymore. Like, she thinks it's okay to fucking be like, oh yeah, not all blacks are criminals. Nah, dude. Like, this shit is fucking...
Being tracked by an enemy team. Stay sharp.
Yeah, I feel like Board's just like, oh, dude, fuck these guys. He's like, what? He's like, what about my black life? Nah, like I can still joke about it and shit, like, but like...
Supply box located. Move to secure.
No, dude, it's super racist. But I've grown up around those people, those white people my entire life. So I've known people like you my entire life. Does that make it any less racist? No. But these people, like a lot of these people, use me to fucking justify the shit that they say. Like, dude, we say shit around you all the time. I'm like, dude, just because you say it around me doesn't mean I fucking like it. Like, dude, like the problem is like, I do say something.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Come here, little bitch. Where'd you at?
Enemy UAV overhead.
Hey, bitch.
Overhead. Friendly loadout drop on the way.
Let's drop overhand, but like, I mean, whether it bugs me or not, you're gonna say it regardless because, like, that's what you say. Like, and I'm not gonna tell you how to talk, bro. Like, that's up to you. Like, if that's who you want to be, like, I don't care, bro. You're still my friend, but doesn't mean it doesn't make it any fucking less fucked up just because I don't say anything about it. It's just like I said, dude. Like, I'm so conditioned to shit like that, which is fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so conditioned to it that I'm just like, oh yeah, dude, it's fucked up. Like, but then when I do speak up, everybody's like, well, you never said anything before, and it's like, because look right now. It's a perfect example. It's like black people are speaking up after not saying shit for a while, and then they're just like, and everybody's like, oh, dude, where did this fucking come from? Like, well, I knew fucking, like, well, that's bullshit, dude. You're an asshole. Like, that's what it turns into every single time. I already know how this story is written because guess what? I've starred in that movie so many times, over and over and over again. So I'm just like, well, whatever, dude. Like, dude, if the thing is, yeah, dude, it's like that's like it doesn't offend me, dude, because you know what? I got the perfect shield from all this shit because I'm half white. That's what I said. So it's like, dude, half my family's white, half my family's black. So I see it from both sides. I get to see it from both sides. My family's, they're both of them act completely different. They're both on completely different sides of the room. And like here I am in the middle, like having to be in the middle. So like this is what I've done like my entire life. So like this is why like everything is chaotic and I'm like it's like that fucking picture of like a guy just like kind of chilling like in his little chair like just relaxing while the fucking house is on fire around him. That's me. Like, but guess what? Dude, do you think what you say is offensive or can be offensive? Then there's your answer. I mean, dude, yeah, if it's like a witty joke, like, I'm all for those. But even I've started to, like, refrain from that shit, dude, because, like, fuck, dude, like, I remember, like, ripping on Paul Walker, like, the same day he died, and, like, people were like, oh my god, I can't even believe you'd say some shit like that. I'm like, why not? Who gives a shit? He's dead. And they're like, what? You said that too? But, like, I'm not saying it's like, it's not right either, but, I mean, at what point does fucking humor stop being humor and start being, yeah, like, and I don't think it's in either context, like, dude, like, this is how hanging out with my white family goes. You get somewhere, somebody thinks they tell a witty fucking joke, black joke you've never heard before, but you've heard it 1,000 times, but you're like, oh yeah, that's good. And then like next person you see is like, oh yeah, like here the black guy's here. And it's like, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Like blah blah. And then it's like that for. Then you get like six guys, six, seven different people telling you a racist joke about black people. And by the sixth one, you go, dude, oh my god, like what the like, stop, dude, like it's not fucking funny. Like, oh, dude, what are you freaking out for? I only told you one joke. You see what I mean? Like that's the problem. It's like, nah, dude, I've literally been dealing with this shit the entire time, and it's like people don't see that. So it's like, yeah, you may have told one joke, but I didn't hear one joke. I just heard 6 or 7 racist jokes that I didn't even think were funny. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, but they think they're hilarious. So I'm like, whatever, dude. Dad. I'm like the only open-minded black guy you know. Yeah, so don't say like you're one of the, but like, dude, you gotta call it what it is from now on. Like, don't like fucking, you know, black guy, white guy. Hey, guess what? That shit's never gonna change. We could be black, we could be white, as long as we treat. Well, technically, I'm African, so black guy. Like, dude, my family would go, oh, let's just blame the black guy. I'm like, dude, yeah, fuck you, you know. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't mind it to an extent, dude, but like, oh, do you gotta put like black first, like ladies first and shit? I mean, it just depends on the context of what you're saying. Like, or like, yeah, dude, like, if you're telling me about this one black guy who went to this fucking like small hick town and was fucking harassed by everybody there, like, yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's probably fucked up because I've been there. I've been to Ironton, Ohio. Like, that place was super fucking racist. Well, like, dude, I literally fucking left that town with like a gun in my hand for the fear of being like lynched, bro. I'm like, yo, I ain't going quietly, dude. Like, but like, yeah, it was like, dude, this shit happened to me. So like, everything that I like have like my thoughts on the matter are my own, from my personal experience, through shit that I've researched, like through history. Like, I'm not saying I'm 100% correct. I'm not saying like I'm wrong. I was like, I'm not, but all I can do, like, you want me to solve racism? You know, you want to solve racism? All you have to do is go look in the fucking mirror and ask yourself what kind of person you want to be. You want to be that guy? Be that guy. I think fundamentally, like, your reasoning behind your view is right because that's your view, but the problem is like your view is fundamentally wrong at the root of it. So like, it's basically growing a bad tree. It's like, hey, bad tree is still a tree, right? It's just a bad one. Like, so like, that's like how ideas are. It's like, hey, dude, a bad idea is still an idea. Dude, I think you need to start actively lynching white people. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Like, see, Lee, I thought that was funny. Why? Because it's so obnoxious that, like, and it's fucking, it won't happen ever, obviously. So, like, to me, that's funny. Okay, hey, guess what? Somebody can differentiate. Hey, he's not being serious. But, like, when people tell me shit, I'm like, dude, is he, like, serious right now? Because, like, I'm, like, kind of uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm like, nah, dude, like, I just think, like, Well, what I mean is like when you speak on it, it's just like you're talking about like these terrible things that have happened to people because of some like this is what I'm listening to. It's like, hey, like all these terrible things and people are like losing their livelihoods and like people are suffering. What I'm listening to right now is like this guy literally understands how black people feel, but he's not connecting those two dots for some reason. Like, hey, guess what? I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. Yeah. Well, and that's the cost of racism. Like, hey, everybody suffers from racism. Not just one person people more so than others. But hey, as a country, we all suffer from it. Like, we're all affected by it, and like hundreds of thousands of people have died for people's right to preserve, like because people want to preserve racism. Like so. If Black Lives Matter is trying to end racism and end discrimination, and you can ignore the other noise and just listen to what they're trying to like unite people and bring people together to do, is for the benefit of everybody. Police reform benefits everybody. Hey, guess what? I'm not gonna have an asshole cop slam me up against a car for no reason anymore. Great, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Like, but people like, hey, guess what? They're fucking rebranding Aunt Jemima and Mrs. Buttersworth and Uncle Ben's rice because hey, guess what? Those were literally created making fun of black slaves. But now people are so fucking like they're so upset. Like Aunt Jemima ain't seen this much press since never. Like no, people just they just fucking like they get these random bursts of outrage. I'm so outraged they're taking a racist picture of a white dude in blackface off of the bottle of Aunt Jemima. Really? Like, why do you care what's on the cover of Aunt Jemima? What's on the cover of Aunt Jemima don't change what's in the bottle of Aunt Jemima. Like, who cares what's on the label? Hey, if it's gonna please everybody, do it. If it was wrong, it should have been changed a long time ago. Now that they're coming around, and like, see, there's things that are happening, and people are pissed about it. Like, this is what I'm looking at. And this is why it causes more pain and like it's tone deaf is what it is. Like there's no better way to describe it. Like saying all lives matter is like using a true statement. Hey, guess what? They do to like undermine and undercut the people who are actually disproportionately discriminated against, which are black people. It was like, oh, like, hey, guess what? All lives matter. I was listening to this comedian. He was like, hey, when your wife goes, do you love me? You don't go like, I love every wife. Like, you don't do that shit. Right? All wives matter. Like, nah, dude, like, it's okay to be white and to be like, this is what, like, I'm just going to say for lack of a fucking better word to describe these people, but a lot of white people. What do you call a group of white people? I don't know either. What do you call a group of black person? We're black people. Hey, yeah, we all know what it's called. We just can't say the word anymore. You know what I mean? Like, what are a group of white? You know what a group of white people are called? Congress. I don't know. Like, I really don't. But like, I mean, like people can believe what they want to believe. Nah, dude, you're easy. This is fucking light work. I'm not saying like it's bad. Like you're just, yeah, dude. you're fucking like you're like 10 steps ahead of like the everyday average fucking like white fucking person that I don't know and I'm talking to on like Facebook or some shit. Like I just find the most fucked up comment like on like social like just public threads. And I just go in on those people, dude. Like, and not like, hey, I'm like fucking like talking shit to him or like like that, dude. I just heard him with facts. I'm like, hey, all this shit happened. I'm like, hey, like if you think like it's so great though, like when has it ever been good to be a person of color in America? When? Hey, which area? What era was America so great that we're trying to replicate? Like when? Make America great again. When the fuck was it ever great for people that look like me? So like, hey, guess what? Everybody is like, hell yeah. Hey, guess what? You only hear like the super patriotic fucking like dead bod fucking dudes who are like super white dudes. Probably drink a can of fucking like some super cheap beer. And yeah, maybe I'm stereotyping a little bit, but that guy, he is all about America and he loves his freedom, right? But what people don't seem to realize is that guy is also black. And black people love their freedom as well. But they should also be allowed to enjoy them without being harassed. But like, dude, I've been pulled over and put in handcuffs and slammed on the ground for standing on the sidewalk after I got off the train waiting for somebody to pick me up. Like standing there waiting. In the waiting area. Like they just came, threw me in handcuffs, put me down. Like I didn't resist. I didn't do anything. Guess what? They were still assholes about it. You know how many times I've been pulled over because my car matches the description of a car involved in a robbery with guns drawn on me? And they don't even ask. They don't even ask for license and registration. Let me see your ID. We'll check you for warrants, and you can go. All right. Like this is a violation of my rights, dude. Yeah, this is a violation of my my civil rights. But this happens all the time. Like people like me are part of the problem too because we don't say shit. We're just like, whatever, dude. Fucking do your business and fucking leave me the fuck alone. Whatever. Like, we don't say shit. We don't speak up on it. But when we do, nobody really listens. So what's, like, how many times are we going to do this over and over and over and over again? You know? Like, hey, guess what? If you disagree with Black Lives Matter, that's cool. I don't judge you for it. Just like I tell people all the time. Hey, guess what? I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. Like I don't like it's a lot like fucking it's half white people and black people blaming each other, and then the other half is left versus right blaming each other for why black people and white people like, dude, it's like such a big fucking like hotbed nest of like holy shit that. But it's like, but at the same time, you are also putting off and ignoring the things that black men are actually doing and highlighting the bad things, which is a lot of what people do with people of color in America. So, like I'm saying, dude, this shit is so conditioned deeply into people that they don't even realize they're doing it. Like shit, dude. You know a question I hate being asked the most, being mixed? What are you? Then I say, a human being. They go, haha, no shit. No, but for real, what are you? What's your nationality? American. What's yours? Nah, dude, like, where are you from? Illinois. Like, and they're like, why are you being such an asshole? How? How? Because I'm not, like, this is what I mean by it's like, these like racial microaggressions that like, hey dude, you only figure out what they are when you decide you want to learn them, so you can unlearn them. So I choose not to feed into that stuff, to feed those people things to go do it to somebody else. I tell them I answered those questions because the way you ask them is kind of fucked up if you think about it. And I tell them why it's fucked up. Now, dude, hey, how many times have you walked up to somebody like, hey, dude, what are you? Yeah, dude, you don't strike me as that kind of person. You know what it turned into? I turned into a fucking game. I'm like, hey, what are you? I'll give you $100 if you can guess. The shit that I've heard, bro. I'm like, dude, if you would have just said, like, human, probably would have won $100. And they're like, oh, dude, that's not fair. That's a trick. How? Like, there's only one race. It's human. All lives do matter. But right now, we kind of have to focus on the black ones because they need our help the most. Hey, guess what? Well, when the fire, like, when your house is on fire, the fire department shows up. You don't see anybody outside going, no, all houses matter. Fucking, like, put my house fire out, too, even though I don't have one. You want to see your fucking, all your neighbors' houses getting sprayed down before yours, even though yours is on fire? Then now, like, then say, like, hey, all lives matter. And then, like, guess what? Your house happens to burn down because they were spraying down everybody else's house. So now you're pissed about it. And you make a huge scene. And everybody goes, well, it's not my problem. How? like, you see what I mean? Like I said, dude, racism solved. Easy as fuck. Tomorrow morning, everybody wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and ask, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be a shitbag? Go be a shitbag. But fucking own it. The people that suck the most are the people that are so fucking racist and they refuse to admit it. Like, those are the worst of the fucking racist people who won't admit they're racist. Those people drive me crazy. I respect the guy who's like, yeah, dude, I'm fucking racist. So what? Hey, guess what? I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong. Like, you can do that, but I appreciate your honesty. I'll stay the fuck away from you. You know what I mean? Do you know how, like, you know how many coolest black guy I know awards I have? A lot. But, like, I cornered the market because I was the only black guy they knew. And I'm only half, which makes it easier to talk to me because I'm also like them. But, like, I'm not because... Yeah. Oh, dude, the problem is I just keep speaking my mind too much about it, dude. Like, this is, like, my second language for, like, I don't know. I think, like, in order for progress to be made, conversations like this need to happen. You need to understand what it's like to be a person of color in America, to understand how they're treating or how they're treated. But it's up to you whether you want to understand that or not. They can tell you and be like, nah, that's not true, I disagree. No, this actually happened. You know what I mean? Like, these stories that I just told you actually happened. But, like, hey, do I support police? Fuck yeah, dude. If it's going to stop somebody from doing that shit to me, for doing what they did to me multiple times to somebody else, do it. That sucked. I don't want anybody else to do it. You know what I mean? But America is such, like, this country has such a, like, step on the other guy mentality. Like, what does somebody say to you when you're having a bad day? Hey, somebody's having a worse one somewhere. You know what I mean? They're literally like, hey, just think, it's shittier for somebody else than it is you. That should make you feel better. Why should it make you feel better to think of somebody else being treated shittier than you feel? Like, and especially when you feel really shitty, like, oh yeah, that makes me feel better. This guy feels more shitty than me. Like, everybody's heard that. Like, hey, or like you see memes about it. Oh, like, here's Monday again. But look at this guy's Monday. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ha 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 ha. Sucks to be that guy. That's what America has. This sucks to be that guy mentality. Is Board in here yet? I can't even send it. That poor guy, dude. Dude, Black Lives Matter, bro. He's black too. Oh, you gotta add him first. He's probably like, fuck it, these guys, dude. What are they even talking about? He's probably so curious. Either that or he's watching my stream right now, like figuring out everything we're saying. I don't even know if they'll get new. Yeah. Yeah, dude. What's up, man?
What?
What? I was like,
What's
dude,
going on?
holy shit, Board's just still sitting here.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
I'm getting all my shit ready for camping.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just wandering around my house.
We were just like, having the, discussion of fucking racial problems in America, which made like.
You want to know my 2 cents on that? If you want to stay friends, you don't talk politics.
I mean, it's not politics, it's people. Like, that's the thing, like, it's people. I don't know any fucking politicians. I know zero elite people, but I know a shit ton of people that look like you and me. And they all have something to say. It's like, hey, I could listen to those guys. And keep the politics out of it. Like, hey, politics, like, didn't create racism. Politics, like, I've never seen a racist guy go, well, that guy told me to be racist, so that's why I'm racist. They never pointed at a congressman saying, like, hey, well, he said it was okay, so, like, nobody's ever said that.
You do know how segregation went, right?
Oh, yeah, it was horrible. And that's what I'm saying, like, the last time that happened, it didn't go so well for the guys that were like, that guy told me to be racist. The Confederates. They lost. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. Like, it's like, dude, there's never gonna be progress until people actually acknowledge.
Act like adults?
Well, I mean, act like adults, dude. Just treat people fucking with, like, why is, like, equality and inclusion is all anybody wants. Is all people of color are asking for. Like,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Like, dude, that is like the top of the line for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, being treated equally should be the bottom line. That should be like the base. Like, hey, let's treat people equally. That's the first thing you should do, not the last. Like, that's your right as a human being, is to be treated fucking equally. And like, people are really genuinely upset at the fact that people want to be treated equally. They're tired of being treated poorly. When has it ever been a good time to be a person of color in America? When? Dude, even Irish, the Irish who were slaves and suffered like hundreds of years of oppression came here because it was better to be a white, poor, Irish immigrant than it was to be a fucking black guy in America. It was better. Hey, we're not the fucking, we're not the short end of the stick anymore. Like, hey, we'll just give it to somebody else. Why not? That's how people think.
Right.
I would, like, just like I also don't understand why white people have such an issue with white privilege. Dude, if I had white privilege, I would love that shit. I would rub it in people's faces. I would, because I'm an asshole. I'd be like, yeah, dude, I got privilege. You know, privilege is like getting a cupcake after dinner. You know, like, hey, you know, it's like a privilege. It's like something you get. Like,
So the issue with that, why all these white people are having an issue with it, is you're right. Like, should be treated.
because they're like, hey, it's supposed to be a secret.
Should be treated with respect. Absolutely. However,
Yeah.
what's happening now is all the for lack of a better word, minorities, right? All
People
the
of
minorities
color?
are trying to turn it
They don't
back
call
on
them
white
minorities.
people to do the exact.
No, well, yeah, dude.
No, that's what's happening. Is they're not trying to bring themselves like up to say our level for lack of better words.
Dude, what the fuck? Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You're trying to bring us down.
Hell no. Like, hey, why
No, you might be.
why am I
You might be
considered
trying
the down of this part? Like, I'm not like
I'm
why am
not
I
saying that
treated
black
down?
people are lesser because I don't believe that. I'm saying or at least the way it's being construed through media and everything, which obviously isn't
Dude,
super
like
accurate.
my opinions and my expressions are through my experiences and
No,
my
absolutely.
research. Like, I don't pay attention to what the media, because people listen to what they want to listen to. But if you want to listen to the facts, the hard facts of
Oh, you
what
have to do your own research.
Black Lives Matter is, everybody should agree that being treated equal like, you shouldn't even, like, the fact that people even have to ask or practically beg to be treated equally is fucking absurd.
I agree.
Like, nobody should have to ask to be fucking treated like a human being. Even though black people weren't even considered human beings for 94 years in America. Then there had to be a fucking war to change that.
Yeah.
You know what was followed by that word? 100 years of Jim Crow laws. Which, shit, dude, almost ended up turning out to be worse than actual slavery. So, you have, like, there we go. Right there is just 194 years.
Yeah, and what can we do about that right now?
We can change the future. It's like, we can't be prisoners of our past. We can only be architects of our future. But people have to want equality too. Like, the problem is people are so opposed against equality. Like, they're pissed off about Aunt Jemima, dude. I give zero fucks about Aunt Jemima. I didn't even learn that. Like, I knew Aunt Jemima was fucked up. This fucked up black lady in a fucking soda bottle, bro. Like, but like
So that's
somebody
how
like
out of proportion
somebody.
this has been blown.
So yeah, no,
Aunt
no, dude,
Jemima
it's not
created
a.
that? No,
No,
Aunt
she didn't.
Jemima created that.
She didn't. The recipe's
Okay,
white
so that's
guys.
what it is.
He created a caricature of a mammal, which was a black. Like, I found this shit. I was like, okay, well, you should probably have that removed then. It probably should have been done a long time ago. The fact that it's being done now, better late than never, right? Like, yeah, of course. Like, hey, why are people so mad about it when it should have probably happened before a lot of them were even born?
Okay. So with that, 7 years ago, did you have a problem with that bottle?
Huh?
7 years ago,
I
did
still
you?
don't have a problem with the bottle, but I see why there could be a problem with the bottle. So, in order to, I mean, it's fucking syrup, dude. Who gives a shit what's on the label? Like, but like, hey, we're not gonna sit there and openly advertise racism either. Like, we're trying to end that shit. So, fucking end Aunt Jemima. Who gives a shit? The syrup's still gonna taste the same with a different label, regardless. But if changing a label is helping further equality, do it. I don't
And
care.
the way I
I'm not
see
going to
that is
oppose it.
7 years ago, no one had an issue with it, and now everyone
I
does.
always used to crack jokes on Aunt Jemima bottles, bro. Like, this shit was just like, I'd crack jokes and like, it turns out some of those jokes were fucking like, they were actually true, and I had no idea. I'm like, oh well, dude. Problem is 7 years ago, Aunt Jemima's label should have been removed for like the past 50 years or so, past 100 years or so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so something that should have been done
Yeah,
a long time ago.
And if that issue would have been raised a long time ago, it wouldn't have had it wouldn't make it look like.
But who's to say it wasn't? Like,
Well, it must
like a lot of the
brought up not long
Confederate
ago 'cause it would have
monuments,
been
a lot of the
changed.
Confederate monuments in America. Do you know when they
Paying
were
tribute,
like?
yeah.
No, do you know when they put them up? During the civil rights movement, to openly mock fucking like people of color. And like, hey, guess what? You want equal rights? We're gonna put Confederate statues up. Like, that's what it was. I found out yesterday there's only been 10 African American senators ever, and 8 of them came after I was born.
Mm-hmm.
You know when the first 2 came?
So that there shows.
You know when the first 2 came?
When did the first 2 come?
Only after shit involving the word civil. The first one was for a year after the Civil War. The next one was for a couple of years after the Civil Rights Movement. Nothing in between. So they just did it long enough, people quiet down, and just kept going back and doing the same thing. So, like, this illusion of change that supposedly has happened hasn't really happened. People are still like, hey, guess what? Would you rather be white in America or black in America?
You'd rather be white in America.
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't matter, like, but I would rather be fucking like white in America, dude. If I get treated better, everybody wants to be treated better.
Yeah, because the old white guys
But
of the
it's
past
like, you can't
are still
like,
here.
but you can't be upset at black people for being upset at a problem that they did not create.
You're right. You can't be.
Like, you shouldn't be. Like, people are, but they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like,
And so, I'm just going to sum it up. My point of view, and that's probably going to be that, is I don't disagree with the movement of Black Lives Matter. I disagree with, and it's not the black people's fault, the groups of Antifa that have been formed, the defunding of the police that
those
has
groups
been...
have always been there.
No, and I disagree with that part of it. The actual movement
Antifa?
of Black Lives Matter.
Antifa has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Nothing whatsoever.
No, absolutely. You're right. It doesn't. But because of this, that has become...
But like I like bacon. Like, if we're just gonna like...
America are...
If we're just gonna like throw random like groups in with Black Lives Matter that like are actual hate groups, that's undermining the whole like everything Black Lives Matter stands for.
So as I first said, I don't disagree with the Black Lives Matter movement. I disagree with what is the fallout of it. So if they can get back to just that, so you're right. It's not the black people's fault. It's the rioters, the looters,
This is the thing, though. They've always had the same message. It's other people that are bringing attention to other people that aren't Black Lives Matter and calling them Black Lives Matter. They're grouping everybody who's doing fucked up shit and saying they're all Black Lives Matter people. So guess what? Everybody's gonna think.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's all like Antifa, nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. Like defunding the police. Hey, guess what? If our police are more well-funded than our school system, where do you think everybody's gonna end up? Not in college. Why can't you allocate some of that money? It's like it's why not basically allocate money from the one, like in Chicago alone, dude, the budget's $1.7 billion.
Yeah, how many
you can't take 300. Yeah. Hey, guess what? We pay the police $1.7 billion to solve 47% of murders. So you don't even give your job half. Like, you're not even at the halfway point. You do less than average. So you get $1.7 billion. Like, hey, guess what? Education, stable communities, after school programs, and outlets for children to get into can be like granted with maybe 300 million of like that police. Hey, you police need $1.7 billion? I don't think anybody needs $1.7 billion. Neither does Mark Zuckerberg.
No, I'm sure. Do you believe that the school is responsible for how a person outcomes or how they are raised?
I think
they are born. No, from the time they are born, going through school, by the end of school, the way they come out, is it the school's fault or is it the way they were raised?
I mean, it's their job to educate with the help of parents.
Is it the school's job to discipline their children?
Is it the school's job to discipline?
No.
Nah, dude, it's not very gray.
It's not.
Dude, see, but like what
So it's
people
your parents'
don't,
fault.
what people,
Your parents didn't raise you right. You acted out in school.
yes, and
Now
that's
they're
why
not.
that's why parents are punished when the teacher suspends their kid, because guess who's got to stay home with that asshole? You do. like it's not the kids. Like kids, they want to stay home, dude. Like, hey, guess what? I don't want
In
to
no
go to
way
school
am I
today.
saying it's. In no way
Like-
am I saying it's the kid's fault. I'm saying I'm
Dude.
putting it on the way that they were raised. Is the way that they come out. So
Right.
at a school, it is not a teacher's job to raise your child. It is a teacher's job to teach 30 students this lesson.
Dude,
So if you have one student who
it's a
doesn't
teacher's
want to be there,
job to manage not only expectation, but also like start to like it's just like not brainwashing, but just kind of like.
no, bias should stay out of school 100%. Yeah.
But guess what?
But at the end
When
of
you
that,
have a
when you
mixed
come out of
school and you go home and like you have like where race like homes where racism is taught and like openly practiced, and you bring that shit to school.
Yeah.
Like, and that shit's in a teacher's class, and it affects everybody's space.
kick
Like
the white kid out of
everybody's
class.
shared space. Well, like you can't kick a kid out of class because it doesn't like a kid. Like you can't do that.
No, absolutely.
Should you
can.
do it? Yeah, they should. But like, you're
Because
gonna
when that
kick
kid
them out of
not liking
school
that
for
kid-
like.
Absolutely.
School was like one of the most like fucking open season places there was, dude. Like, fuck, dude.
And it is, because parents aren't raising their kids to be respectful, they're raising to be entitled assholes.
Dude,
Now,
I learned how to be respectful at school,
good on you.
so I disagree.
So, yep. So,
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Yeah. That's like I think school is great.
disagree with what the
It's
teachers
teaching structure. It's a structured environment for your children to
Enemy
grow up
dropping
in.
into the AO.
Like, yes, exactly.
right, and
Board. Do you have
absolutely
kids?
those teachers did not do their job.
Do you have kids?
No, I'm coming from the kid's perspective.
Nah, Ben, we can all talk from the kid's perspective, but if you've never been on the parents' perspective, then you can't see the whole side of the problem.
You're done warming up. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right.
No,
So
I agree
if
that
it's
teachers need to do their job. But,
right, and their job is to
So-
educate their students, right?
So if you have 30 students,
Royale.
one kid is being an asshole and disrupting the entire class. What do
Is
you
he
do?
denied an
You kick him out.
education?
Closing in
So
fast.
deny him an
Safe
education for being an asshole?
Yes.
They do. They have. It's called a behavioral class.
Yeah. And they have those.
Yeah, they're behavioral classes.
So
Like,
you have 30 kids. 29 of them are there willing to learn and listen. One of them isn't. What do you do?
dude, have you ever like tried to wrangle up like at least like a couple kids to try to get them to do like the same
Yeah.
thing for a long amount? This shit is just impossible, bro. This shit is the hardest thing to do, and that's why teachers like go to school to learn how to do it. Like, teachers don't get enough credit, in my opinion. Like, they deserve more, but like with this whole pandemic shit, dude, it's like, what are they actually doing? Like, I get
Ready
like.
to engage all targets.
Like, dude, I don't have the patience for that. Like, that's what they went to school for. It's like, I didn't go to school to be a fucking teacher. Like, I don't know the first thing about trying to teach somebody some shit. Like, not out of no fucking textbook, but like, hey, guess what? I was good at learning the shit out of the textbook. Doesn't mean that's
Yeah, because you sat in class
No, because school was my escape from my fucking home situation in my childhood. Like, dude, school was a place where I could go and feel safe. And I can go learn, and I can take my mind. I mean, fucking, we all cause problems once or twice. Like,
and what happened when you did that?
Lunch detention. Like, I got detention. I had to stay after school. Like, that's the worst shit you can do. Like, you want to go outside and play? Nah, motherfucker, you got more school to do. Yeah, probably most of the time I did. Like, but a lot of my problems stemmed from what was going on at home. So, like, but I still was a straight A student. Like, it didn't affect my grades. Like,
Next objective location.
Yeah, and I had a teacher like that, and I just got up and left her class.
yeah, we weren't allowed to. You weren't allowed to do that, dude. Hey, guess what? In America, dude, if you do that shit, bro, like, you get arrested as a student. Like, you get charged with truancy. Like, that shit's a juvenile crime, bro. Like, you can't do that. Like, school is something you have to do. Like, you have to.
Absolutely. So the students, it's your right to an education. However, it's your response. So go back to the very basics: rights and responsibilities. Your right, you have a right to an education. Your responsibility is to sit there and listen. No, and yeah, and your teachers, your teachers did not do their job. I'm 100% saying that.
You know where things got, you know where things got fucked up is when they just started passing all the kids. Like, started passing every kid. Like, oh, no child left behind. That's when shit started getting all fucked up. Because now that's what they're saying is like, dude, we've done all we can do. Is like, because this was the problem that was creating a logjam and why they made that shit in the first place. Like, hey, guess what? Some kids require more attention than others do. And they don't learn shit. It's like, everybody learns at their own pace. But it's not, it's like you can only do so much with the resources you're provided. And if your school is underfunded, you think your kid's getting a good education? Nah, dude, not even close.
So, at least up here, the way it was put to me is school is basically your job, right? That's the analogy that they use up here, all teachers, every school I went to. So at your job, right, what do? You show up. So my job was 9 till 3:30, I think school went to. So I showed up, and my job was to sit there and listen. So instead of getting paid with money, you get paid with education.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Right? So at your job, if you go there, create problems, yell at your bosses, teachers, what happens? Do you get fired?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get kicked out of class. Right? That is the...
But I mean, if it's a job, like, but the analogy doesn't fit, because if it's a job, then you wouldn't be fucking hired again.
Well, does your boss... Yeah, so it's even better than a job. You can fuck up as many times as you want, and you can still go back.
Right. And you get to go back to the next grade.
Mm-hmm. Does your boss get paid to take your shit all day?
Send recon.
No, your boss gets paid to manage every single person in that business. That's your teacher. Does your teacher get paid to take your shit all day? No. Your teacher gets paid to teach 30 different students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also it's a shared responsibility, right?
Between your teacher to teach you and you to be taught. So going back to my original, what I started this conversation with, between parents and teachers, by the end of it, how that kid outcomes, it is not on the school. Part of it, yes, the teacher, if they do their job.
Well, like, dude, I don't think anybody's really suing any schools for, like, their...
Body armor here.
Yep.
Primary objective accomplished. Recon intel secured. Friendly UAV overhead.
Yep.
Damn, that sounds like a lot like policing black people to me.
You got dealt a shit hand. I will say that. That teacher should not have a job. No, okay, well those teachers. Yep.
Yeah, dude. Low key, that was low key one of the hardest lessons that anybody learns in school. Like, but that shit was still learned in school. Like, hey, dude, you learned like diversity and like people's backgrounds and where they come from, like where your friends come from. You go to your friend's house for the first time. You live in a fucking mansion. Like, it's like, dude, you don't realize how different it is for some people more than yourself. And like, dude,
Yeah, I'm not trying to talk the specifics.
But it's not the teacher's fault. Like,
you're right. I'm not trying to say it's the parents' fault. I'm not trying to say it's the teacher's fault.
But like,
it is. Yes, we'll say it's a little bit of both.
I don't know,
but
man.
At the end of the day, you get the way the person out is fucking brought up has more effect than the schools. Therefore, you're trying to say like defunding the police. Like you said, in Chicago, we had a 47% success rate on murders. How many murders are there year round? What is that?
I don't know the exact number. I just know the number.
Okay, so let's
I just know the number.
To put it in as a generalization, let's say there's 1,000.
I think it's like 7,000 or something like that.
Okay.
No, like it's like 3,000.
Keep the math easy, right? So 470 of those 1,000 cases are going to be solved. So take away that money. That number drops to 30%. Great. So now the murders are getting away with it more. You now have more murders.
Are they getting away with it more, or are more people
Absolutely
committing?
they are.
How are they getting
Both.
away with it more?
Because
like,
there's now
just
less
because,
police to police the murderers.
But that doesn't make murder any less wrong.
No, the argument wasn't whether it was right or wrong.
Like,
right? Defunding the police is not the right call.
Regardless, if you defund them or not, it's still gonna happen. Like, crime is not 100% preventable.
No, absolutely it's not. But with more police, it is policeable, and you can deter it.
But the problem is, is like these same things that people are getting arrested for, cops are getting away with.
Yeah. So
friendly UAV overhead.
This is really gonna spark it, but this will be fun. Resisting arrest. So there was a case in Canada actually where a cop got charged with murder because the person was resisting arrest,
We need recon. Send
stole the
that
taser of the other cop,
UAV entering
and
the
the
AO.
cop shot him.
UAV entering the
So with
AO.
that, do you think that's wrong?
UAV overhead.
The cop shot him for trying to steal his taser?
No, for stealing his taser. The taser was in the perp's hand.
I mean, those situations, they are, I mean, there's no really one right or wrong way to answer it, but as a peace officer, it's your job to assess the situation for what it is and to de-escalate. Before resort, it's like violence is supposed to be like firing your weapon is supposed to be a last resort because everything else has failed.
So what they said when they charged this man is a taser is a non-lethal form of detaining someone. Absolutely it is. So there's two cops. They pull a taser, they tase the one cop. That person is now rendered fucking useless, right? They are tased. They are on the ground doing nothing.
Yeah, incapacitated.
Yep. What's to stop that perp from grabbing that gun and shooting someone?
A bullet in his head, I guess, right? And like that would make sense.
There you
Then just put a bullet in his head before stealing a donut. Like, dude, no, like you have to draw the line. Like, you should not be sentenced to die for sleeping in your own bed.
Nope,
See Breonna Taylor. Like, so this is what we pay police for? Like in Chicago alone during the protest, bro. Like they fucking like they were like, hey, you need to protect this congressman. He was a African American congressman's fucking office. Like, hey, stay here, make sure people don't fuck this up. You know what they did? They fucking like ate all his food, fucking sat there and drank all his shit, fucking laid all over himself. And like this shit's all on camera. So this is what we pay $1.7 billion for?
So another one that's I really
So
think
wait.
is going to get you going here.
So wait, when you said this person steals a cop's taser, but when cops shake people down and fucking just start violating your rights, which is technically a crime. So if we're going to start killing people, no matter what crime they commit, well, shouldn't they be held accountable as well?
Yep.
Who made them judge, jury, and execution? That's not how the judicial system works. It doesn't work that way.
Yep. So I'm just gonna say this because I think it's gonna fucking get you going on this topic
Friendly
too.
UAV overhead.
I mean, are you saying it to get me going, or
So,
because it has anything of substance? Because like,
Because it has
It's
everything,
not- it's
anything of
probably not gonna
substance,
give
and
you
it's
this-
gonna get you going. So to you, because you're black, right? So you can talk from that perspective.
okay,
All black. Do you believe that there are certain
Opposite.
black people that have created a stereotype for all black people? A select few.
no, because black people didn't create the stereotype. Other people did.
So stereotypes stem from somewhere.
Somebody
Right.
else, not the people that they're fucking stereotyping. Like, that doesn't make any
So
sense.
at no point in time. Okay. No, I'm not wording that correctly. So, do you believe there are good black people and bad black people?
I mean,
Just yes or no. Don't go on about good white people.
I'm
bad
not
white
gonna
people, 'cause there
answer
are.
that because like it's
Good people and bad people.
it's
There's
a
good people and
biased
bad
question.
people.
It's
We'll
a
make it a
racially
very-
biased question. Like,
Good people and bad people. Then we'll take the racial out
is
of it.
there
'cause
good
it
people
doesn't
and
need to
bad
be there.
people? Absolutely.
And bad people. Okay. So that being said,
Can good people do bad things?
no, you
Gas
can.
closing.
That's not what I'm getting at. You can safely say that there are certain black people that act at a higher level in society than other black people.
Target
Certain white
identified.
people do it,
Slot the
certain
bastard.
Chinese, whatever. In every race, that is the way it is.
Do you think they all do it equally?
So in the police force, there are good cops and there are bad cops, right? Right?
I mean, like I told Chase earlier, until all cops are vetted and dismissed accordingly based on their fucking rap sheet and their criminal history while wearing a badge, until those cops are fired, there are no good cops. Because guess what? Those cops that
Enemy
you think are
UAV
good,
overhead.
that may not have
Okay.
done these things to people, are still covering for that guy who is. So, yeah.
Okay.
There are no
So
good cops.
in a
No.
black family, then, like just because this is about the Black Lives Matter, in a black family, say their kid steals something or
Venom us.
commits a crime, that family hides it up. By what you just said, there's no good black people.
I said there was no. I never said there was no.
No, you said there's no good cops because certain cops are doing bad things and other cops are
A
covering
cop
it
is
up.
not a cop is not a person. It's a job.
Enemy UAV
You are not your job.
Gas is inbound.
Okay, so as by
Friendly
that, what you were
UAV
saying, by that
overhead.
premise, if one black person commits a crime and another group of black people cover it up, there are no good black people. By the exact premise that you
Out of
just said.
that particular group, no. Like those, like that's called aiding and abetting. Like that's a crime as well. Like that's actually a crime. Like people get arrested for that because they tried to cover it up. Hey, guess what?
Hostile.
You know what that's called? That's being an accessory.
Yeah, moving.
So also illegal, yes, but not if you're a cop.
It is illegal if you're a cop.
It's not, because like they get away with
Copy
it.
that.
But like these people are like, hey, just if you don't say anything, because guess what? There's a police. It's like a gang
Enemy
mentality,
UAV
dude.
overhead.
Like, hey, guess what? If you snitch on another cop, you think snitching on that? You think the other cops are gonna trust you? No, dude, you're fucking socially outcast for it. Like,
So you do that in any
because
society, you narc
you're
on
socially
somebody.
you're outcasted for speaking up for, like, say you see a cop beating on somebody and you're like, hey dude, you can't do that. That cop later then fucking pulls you aside, don't you ever fucking do that again. You made me look this way or that way. It's like, dude, like, power, dude, absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's 100%, there is no way around it. If you get, dude, you know
Enemy
what?
cluster strike
Research
incoming. Take cover.
the Stanford prison experiment. They took regular ass kids, gave half of them fucking inmate jumpsuits, and these are college kids as well. None of them have ever been convicted of a crime. Gave half of them a badge and half of them a jumpsuit, and made a makeshift jail for like 7 days.
Movement.
And what that badge represented to them, like it's insane, dude. Like to see that, like how power corrupts people. It does. Like,
Enemy contact.
So what happened?
dude, these kids lost their fucking minds. Like, some of them needed psychological counseling. Like they would make them, oh yeah, strip your clothes off because they could. They did it just because they could. Like, literally. And a lot of cops do shit because they can. You hear that shit in fucking, like, people's videos. Why are you doing this to me? Because I can. Wow, dude. Really? Like...
And I'm not saying that those cops shouldn't be arrested, because they should be.
Right. Until all cops are vetted and dismissed accordingly, there are no good cops.
Okay, till all black people, same thing.
Black people are cops too, though. Like, you're separating one from the other when, like, black is a person. Like, a cop is not a person, it's a job.
The way it's being construed is that a cop is now a race.
Apparently, yeah, and that's wrong too. Like, cop is not a race, dude. It's a race of cops. Like, yeah, dude, what race? Like, the fucking inaugural fucking fireman versus police race? Or, like, what? Like, there's, like, cops are people too, yes. But they're people first, before they're cops. And a lot of them forget that. Like my uncle. He's a Chicago police officer. I know him as an uncle. And I know him as a person, but he is not. I don't know him as a cop. He could be the exact opposite.
Your teammate is sent to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy. UAV overhead.
Setting charge.
Your teammate got a proper sorting. We're sending them home. UAV overhead.
Taking fire.
Where'd everybody go? She got kind of crazy there for a second.
Vendor here.
I don't
Might
think
have
so.
what you need.
I got 2 elims, but no squad wipe.
Friendly UAV overhead. Gulag's locked down. Area's clear.
Oh, some bitch! Look at all those fucking guys.
You've got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
There's guys on the roof.
Loadout drop inbound.
Two squads.
Target
to,
sighted.
How the fuck are we supposed to get up there?
Taking fire.
Oh, I'm stuck.
Got gas moving in.
Ah!
Keep the pressure on. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone. We've got gas moving in.
Oh god, I hope I'm not dead.
Yep.
Yeah, now.
Gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
I could use a couple.
Armor's here.
Three teams left.
Gas is moving. 5 remain. Stay sharp.
Down here.
There, I got
Underneath,
disregard
I
my
mean?
last. There, I got movement.
I'm good on plates.
There's two people left.
Yeah, they're down here.
There, I got movement. There, I got movement.
Yeah.
They have to be. The other guy just ran across the whole thing.
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
Ah!
Seriously, just laying there?
Dude, he's right here. Yeah, there you go. Die, bitch.
Right on. Good shit.
Like, I was so lost in that conversation that, like, I was, like, walking, like, wandering in, like, the middle of, like, nowhere. I was like, oh, shit, they're back there. I'm like, oh, shit, what am I doing? Wait, so what were we talking about again? No, I'm just kidding.
Nothing. We're talking about nothing.
See, like, there we go, just, like... Wait, who's the other guy? Is he a random? Oh, that's why he's not here. Let's fuck.
Yeah, no, he joined us just before we started. He just kind of joined one of your guys's. Must be a friend of Dizzy's, maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
Dude, I don't get it. And Bago boy. Or, yeah. And Bago. Winnebago boy. I left?
Says you did.
I didn't fuck, dude. This shit's been like weird all morning. Hey, can we win 2 in a row? I've never done that yet. Sweet, me too. But nah, dude, Bird, you can't like create a point out of hypotheticals. Like you have to look at like the hard evidence. Like what has happened? Like what facts do we have here? And then kind of like figure out okay,
I'm not trying.
whether
the
it's
point
like
I'm-
right or like yeah, you determine like hey, is this right? Like like is this really the right way we should be doing things, or are we not like?
I'm not trying
There's
to
always a
necessarily
better
create a point.
way to improve. Like you just try to be better than you were yesterday. You can put it that simple, but to keep justifying people's actions that are flat out morally wrong.
And that's not what I'm trying to do.
Well, no, I'm not saying
point
you
that-
are, but I'm saying
no.
people do. This is what happens. And this is
and
why
I
nothing
agree
ever gets
absolutely.
solved
They
because
try
it's
and
like
justify.
right.
Yeah, they're trying to justify morally wrong
Look,
actions that
I
have been
don't
taken
care.
by,
I don't care
the
who
police or by
commits it.
other people.
I don't care who
a crime
commits
is a
it.
crime.
Murder's still murder. Like it doesn't
a
matter if
crime
it's a
is a
cop
crime.
who commits it or whether somebody else or it's in self-defense. Like killing somebody is killing somebody.
Yep.
There's no other way to spin that. Like that shit. Like say that shit happened.
Yep, you killed somebody. At the end of the day, you have killed somebody.
Yeah. Like so. But like, I think people try to overcomplicate the things, but what it comes down to, and Black Lives Matter in particular, is the bottom line. Like, no, the very top line. Like I said, all people want is to be treated equally and not
Yep.
discriminated against. Hey, guess what? Like you brought up schools. Hey, man, I was talking to one of my old classmates saying like, dude, I can't believe I got the same education as this guy. And I did. And like hey, guess what? We do not think alike whatsoever. I'll just put it that like, and that's me being nice.
Yeah, okay.
Like, dude, I created a term just for him because I know him. Like, we use a childhood friend. We grew up together. Like, the shit he does isn't racist, but the shit he says is super racist. But a lot of the shit he says is racist on accident.
Yeah, so he's just
But, like,
ignorant of the fact, right?
Well, no, like he doesn't even like deny its existence, but he's like, dude, I'm not racist. Like I've grown up, like, you know, he's like, I was like, dude, me, like I know you, yeah, like you're not, but then you go and post dumb shit on Facebook, like cool people. The coolest people are also the dumbest people. Hey, the KKK also had a lot of friends once too. Right, because cool kids have a lot of friends. So I was like, dude, are you saying the KKK is cool? Because that's kind of what it sounds like. But he didn't even realize he was saying it until I explained it to him. And he was like, oh, I just deleted it, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, dude, he didn't really admit, but he kind of realized, like, okay, well, maybe I fucked up. But the problem is like, we need to start normalizing that to change your opinion on something, it's okay. Like, people are so, like, dead set on it's not okay. You have to hold your fucking stance till you die. You can't learn more facts and then change your views of things. Like, no, dude, fuck that. That would go against everything I stand for because I'm a prideful American. Basically.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, every person, foreigner I've talked to, like, I'm always like, dude, what are Americans like when they come to your country? Are they anything like you guys coming to ours? Because, like, they're some of the most respectful people that I've ever met. So like, like they laugh it off and like they're nice about it, but basically they're saying, nah, dude, like, like, you know how? Well, you're Canadian,
Yep.
but you can see that a lot of Americans act like fucking entitled little children. Do you think that just they turn that off when they're going to another country? Nah, dude, they expect shit because they're American. Because that's the way they've gotten it in America.
Because it's the way they were raised, yep.
Unless you're a person of color. So what I'm saying is not to lower anybody to anybody. I'm saying create a level platform. The platform that's already in play, you can't fix it, you can't repair it, it needs to be fucking torn down, and they need to, like I've been saying for fucking years, that they need to rewrite the Constitution. You can't just keep putting band-aids on something that's fucking flawed to begin with.
As I say, I'm not even touching that one.
Yeah.
I was like, nope. I was sitting here. I'm
No,
shaking
but the
my
thing
head.
is,
Like, nope.
the thing is, they can, but they don't want to. Like that's the whole
Absolutely,
thing.
you can.
They
But
can.
by doing so, what happens is you throw yourself back about 700 years.
It wouldn't. It's not even throwing
I'm
yourself back.
I'm not saying no. It is.
You can draft up like proposals of and have.
You can amend your. Yeah.
Like these fucking like, dude, if your amendments need amendments, like, okay, something's probably fucking wrong here. Okay, like you don't hand in a fucking revision after fucking redacted after revision as a fucking paper, do you? And expect somebody to understand what you're thinking, right? No.
Nope.
Like,
So,
like take what we have. We have good bones. It's got good structure.
And
Use
amend
it. Don't change. Like, change the wording. Because, like, some of the shit that's written in there is specifically worded like the 13th Amendment. Yeah, it abolished slavery. You know what else it did? Enslaved black people again in a different way. Like, the way this shit's written is wrong. And they knew how they wrote it when it happened. Like, they knew what they were doing. Like...
Get yourself the proper warm-up.
Well, that doesn't make it any more right, though. Like,
we're not saying it makes it right.
no, it's not coming up with something better. It's taking what we have and building upon it, and taking the shit out that fucking sucks, dude. No, amendment is basically just putting band-aids on something that's already there. No, this shit needs to be revised. Fuck, dude. The Bible's been rewritten fucking hundreds of times, and fucking shit's been stripped out. People don't seem to care, dude. Yeah, but that doesn't seem to bother people much. They still practice Christianity and Catholicism and Judaism and every other fucking religion that goes along with the Bible. But, like, everybody should have equal, like, I agree, everybody, like, equal representation. So,
No one's disagreed
but, like, you have to look at it. It's like, if you think about it, the white people have been telling black people how to be black people
Time for the real thing.
for years, or they've been teaching them what kind of black people they want them to be, instead of letting them be who they are. Like, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. You came here on no fault of your own, but now that you're here, like, and these are the rules, and you're gonna abide by them, and like, it's just, and then we're gonna patrol your neighborhoods 10 times more than we patrol every other neighborhoods. Not necessarily because there's higher crime, but like I was telling you earlier, but. Well, statistically speaking, yes,
That's the point I was
but
trying to
also,
make,
but also the statistics are skewed because, like, looking at that at face value, one would probably assume that all neighborhoods are policed the same, which they're not. So you think areas where there's 50 cops are going to report more crimes than areas where there's 2 cops?
Naturally.
Dude, there's probably hundreds of crimes that go on there every single night, but people turn a blind eye to it because it's money.
Or because it's not being reported.
Target sighted.
I think
You have 2 people below you, go.
it's just the system in which everything America is built on is biased, bro. Like, that's what systemic racism is, you know what I mean?
Behind you, behind you, behind you.
Teammate was able to do that. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy. Survive and you can redeploy.
Do I think there, I mean, are we,
Here we go.
so like, what you're saying is we can basically profile which areas we think are going to, like, crime is not preventable regardless of where it happens. Like, do we really need armed men to come resolve fucking, like, neighbor disputes or some shit like that, dude? Like, if there's
Reported, yes.
if there's people screaming at each other, do we really need somebody who's gonna fucking come scream louder with a gun? Like,
Yeah, you kick their ass. Stand by for redeployment.
do we need, like, right? And you, like you said, you've been discriminated against, right, by the police, right? You've been a victim of discrimination by police.
Domestic disputes.
Well, I mean, but it's not their hopes and dreams because they go through fucking, I don't know, like 8 days of training or whatever, which needs to be longer. Like they're not trained properly. Like, they're not. Right. No, but like,
Enemy UAV overhead.
but as a boxer, say, like, you've only had fucking a couple weeks of training. Now they're telling you to go handle fucking, like, these real fucking other boxer fucking, yeah, like, hey, we're gonna tell
So you're
you.
gonna bring a gun.
No, it's like, here, we're gonna give you a gun. We're not gonna really train you much. Like, we're gonna tell you, hey, try not to kill anybody, basically. I mean, police are funded by mostly like, just like schools, they're funded by the people. So, me as one of those people, if I'm paying you, I want the same kind of fucking treatment as like
Hostile
other people
dropping into
paying
the
for
area.
you.
Watch the skies.
In some situations, no. There's no reason for it.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Based on the call, like, dude, that's what they have fucking 911 calls for. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so with that though,
but when they find one and they shoot you, like, are they okay for doing that?
was that gun in your hand?
I mean, there's a lot of times where there's black men being killed with no guns in their hands. So, like, because they thought they had one. But that's what he signed up for. I didn't sign up to put my life on the line for having you show up. Like I said, do you know how many times I've been pulled over because my car matches the description of a car involved in a robbery? Exactly. So you're condoning that? Like, is that okay? Like, no, it doesn't make it any more okay. Just because, like, I don't care who it happens with. If the shit's wrong, it's wrong, and it needs to change. So there needs to be change. There needs to be police reform because guess what? This shit does happen to everybody. It just happens to black people 3 times as much. Like, that's what I'm saying. Are you saying, like, black people are 3 times the amount of criminal that anybody else is? No, dude, that's not the case at all. Like, it's... Black people are policed different. Like, that's a fact. Like, dude, if you don't keep... Hey, license and registration. Reach for your license. Get 2 warning shots in your nose. Like, oh, sorry, I feared for my life, but you asked me to reach for my license. Like, but like, I'm not even using an analogy. Like, that shit actually happened. I feared for my life. Do we really need like people so afraid of other people like policing us, or do we want people that are actually trained to deal with and de-escalating these situations? Like, dude, I don't want a scared cop showing up to my house to de-escalate something, bro. If he's scared, he's probably gonna scare most of us even more than we're already. Like, I don't think. Well, I mean, it works in Finland and Sweden, but I mean, they've had.
Check your gear and weapons. Planes are making ready for deployment.
I mean, it's still Western civilization. Yeah, definitely. And I think initially, would crime spark? No, like, I don't think people are gonna go start committing more crimes because there's less police. No, I don't believe that whatsoever. I think the same amount of people are going to start committing, or the same amount of people are going to, because, I mean, people don't just wake up one day and be like, oh, yep, there's less police, time to go commit a crime today. No, the people that are committing these crimes have probably committed crimes before. So to say that more crime is going to happen because there's less cops is just not, it's not fair. It's not really fair to say, because like you said, there are good people, and do you think those people are just going to stop being good people because there are less cops? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Which is also another uncomfortable part, because, like, it seems like these rights to protect your shit are only reserved for certain people. Like, and I'm not gonna fucking say, like, but, like, if you think about...
bullets through the front of them, all the way in your doorway.
Like...
People here.
Enemy soldier incoming. Right box marked. Secure the package.
Prick. Which one of you shot him? I hate you both.
Dude, I was fucking using my white privilege, my bad. Oh, yeah, see, that was funny. I'm sorry, I was just took what you were saying to heart, and I thought we needed armed men to come resolve this shit.
Well, you're both black to me then. shot behind. Still one in the attic.
Another one behind us.
Teammates
Yeah, he's in the top window.
If they survive, they can redeploy. Contract updated. New objective identified.
What's the matter? They don't want to come fuck with us? All we got is some pistols.
And an empty pila.
I don't even know where that guy was that's shooting us.
From one was southwest.
Oh, there he is.
The other one was in this building behind us. Yeah, he's right here.
Hostiles in the area. X-ray spotted.
90 meters.
He ran.
I just got a live ping on him up at this hill. Yeah, right there.
Hostiles in the area. X-ray spotted.
Want some fuck? I don't know where he went. I'm scared.
Next objective located.
Dude, that fool fucking pulled a Houdini.
He dipped. Whatever. Fuck.
All supply boxes found. Solid work.
Vendor here. Need something from the shop?
Right there.
This way. Move it.
That's where the shots came from. There's to the left, there's two of them.
Whoa.
Contact.
They came back with new toys.
Oh, there's another one to my right. What the fuck? There's now three of them. Hail! Hail!
Movement!
You ain't staying here. Move.
Movement!
Gas is inbound.
Up top? Where is he?
Movement!
Dead. Down
Your
one.
teammates in the gulag.
One more
If
pushing
they
me.
survive, they can redeploy.
To my left, coming behind me. There's two of them. Let's try.
Contact.
Where the fuck did you get all these guns from, bro? I'm still over here with a little pistol.
This is the gulag. Survive and you can redeploy.
He's right side.
Win here and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over.
He is right
Time
side.
to earn your freedom,
Sitting
soldier.
right side of the spawn.
Yeah, you kick their ass. Stand by for redeployment.
I'll do that.
Yep, I need that.
Your teammate is redeploying. Stand by. Supply box ready for pickup. Next objective located.
There's people over by the buy station.
Assault rifle here.
Oh, I finally found a gun. Guess what it is? A pistol.
SMG located.
The MP5s on this one are trash. The last ones were so good.
Sixth objective located.
Pretty sure there's people on
Shotgun
those roofs.
There, I got movement.
Someone behind us on the roof. What?
All supply boxes found. Solid work.
I'll buy him back if you guys get up. Load out. Oh shit, just kidding.
Enemy
He's up
UAV
top.
overhead. Planting explosive.
No. Is it still up there?
Ah, shit. Yeah, there's one up there and one in the middle.
There he's up top with an RPG. Oh, and he has fucking 4 more shots right on.
Yeah, dude, that bison is just gutless. Like, for a gun that I love so much in multiplayer, to be absolute hot garbage in Warzone, that in itself is an injustice. But, like, no, dude, in order for real change to come, like, conversations like these, they need to happen. People need to be able to, like, have the hard conversation, because, dude, no change comes from fucking, no change comes, like, no good change, at least, comes
Ignorance does
from
not
staying in your comfort zone. Like,
Exactly.
you have to
Ignorance
step out of
doesn't
your,
solve anything.
yeah, you can't step out of your comfort zone and solve anything. It's like, you have to step out of your comfort zone to solve it. And it's like, hey, guess what? It's uncomfortable to be a person of color in America, and that's a fact. Like, you, like, dude, I envy you. You're Canadian, but that's not your fault. Like, I'm not gonna hate you because you're Canadian. Like, it's not your fault you were born there. Like, so why am I being fucking based on some shit that I can't control? Like, I can't control the color of my skin. I didn't have no fucking, like, swatch board where they were like, hey, what color do you want to be? Nah, dude. Didn't happen.
Deployment. Now's the time to warm up.
That shit was like, so, like, to be fucking discriminated because of it, like, to be treated differently because of it, like, I don't like it. I don't like being treated differently. It's like, dude, nobody does. So that's what needs, that's what needs to change. But the people who oppose it don't see the problem because it basically, like, if it doesn't happen to them, it doesn't exist. So, or it's not the problem. But like I was telling Chase earlier, I was like, dude, this is an everybody problem. Like, everybody should be fucking, like, upset about it. Like, they should. Like, realistically, like,
Enemy soldier incoming.
like, this shit should bother everybody.
Enough practice. Time for the real thing.
But not bother them to the point where they're, like, protesting and creating protests to protest other protests. Like, that doesn't solve anything. That's just making shit more complicated. Stick to the facts. Let's figure out, like I said, dude, we can solve racism easy as fuck. Everybody just has to go and to ask themselves what kind of person do you want to be. Like, nobody fucking wakes up racist. Nobody's born racist.
Gas is closing on your position.
This shit is fucking learned. Like, people can unlearn it.
Never take it.
But, okay, like,